Every night at 2 a.m., her baby stood up in his crib and pointed his finger at the Doberman. Zeus, stay. She watched it on the monitor and smiled. A toddler scolding a 90-pound dog. Adorable. She had no idea her son had been saving her life every single night for 6 weeks. Before you watch, remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss another touching story like this one. And write in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is there. The first time Noah did it, Lauren almost missed it. She'd been half asleep on the couch, her laptop open, another deadline bleeding into another sleepless night. The baby monitor on the coffee table flickered. She glanced at it. Noah was standing in his crib, 2 years old, barefoot, his hair sticking up in every direction. He was pointing his tiny finger at Zeus, wagging it the way Lauren wagged hers when he drew on the walls. Zeus sat at the foot of the crib, all 90 pounds of him, black and tan, ears perfectly erect, head slightly lower like a soldier being reprimanded by a general. A very small general. Lauren smiled and closed her eyes. Just a baby and his dog. She had no idea what she was watching. Lauren had been on her own since Noah was 4 months old. His father had left on a Tuesday. No argument, no warning, just a note on the kitchen counter and an empty closet. She'd gone back to work 3 weeks later because she had no choice. Freelance graphic design deadlines at midnight. Coffee at 6 a.m. Zeus had come from her brother 6 months after that. You need someone in that house with you, her brother had said, handing her the leash. Lauren had looked at the Doberman standing in her doorway. 90 pounds, cropped ears, eyes that seemed to be calculating something. He's terrifying, she said. He's trained, her brother replied. There's a difference. Zeus had been perfect from day one. Gentle with Noah in the way large dogs sometimes are when they understand something is small and fragile. He slept at the foot of Noah's crib every night without being asked. He never barked at nothing. He never growled without reason until 6 weeks ago. That's when the nightly routine started. The second time Lauren saw it, she sat up straight. It was 2 a.m. again. The baby monitor flickered. Noah was standing in his crib, finger pointed directly at Zeus, his little mouth moving. She grabbed the monitor and turned up the volume. Zeus, no. Zeus, you stay. The Doberman's ears flicked forward. Zeus made a low sound in his throat, not a growl, something softer, like he was trying to answer. Noah wagged his finger again. No, you stay here. Mommy's sleeping. Lauren sat completely still on the couch. Her son was giving the dog orders in the middle of the night. She almost laughed. Then she noticed Zeus's body. He wasn't relaxed. His muscles were coiled, his head low, his eyes moving between Noah and the bedroom window. He wasn't being scolded. He was being held back. Lauren put the monitor down. She told herself it was nothing, closed her laptop, and went to bed. Night 3, night 4, the same thing. Every night between 2 and 3 a.m., Noah would stand up at his crib and point his finger at Zeus. Every night Zeus would sit and take it, head low, body tight, eyes fixed on the window. On night 5, Lauren stood in the doorway of the nursery and watched it happen in real time. Noah's voice was barely a whisper. Zeus, stay. Mommy needs sleep. Zeus turned his head and looked directly at Lauren. Those dark, intelligent eyes. Something passed through them she couldn't name. Then he turned back to Noah and stayed. Lauren went back to bed with a feeling in her chest she couldn't explain, like she just witnessed something she didn't have a language for. On night 6, she almost took Zeus out of the room. She'd mentioned it to her sister on the phone that afternoon. A dog shouldn't be agitated in a baby's room every night, her sister said. That's not normal. He's not agitated. He's just alert, Lauren. He's never hurt Noah. Not once. He's a Doberman. There it was. The word that ended every conversation. Doberman. Like the breed was the whole story. Lauren had heard it from the pediatrician, from her neighbor, from the woman at the park who grabbed her child off the slide when Zeus walked past. She defended him every time. But that night, she stood in the hallway with her hand on the nursery door, listening. Noah's voice small and serious. Zeus, no. Stay. Zeus's low answer. That sound that wasn't quite a growl. Lauren's hand dropped from the door. She went back to bed. She didn't sleep. On the seventh night, Lauren set up her phone to record. She propped it against a bookshelf in the nursery before Noah went to sleep. She went to bed and set an alarm for 3 a.m. When it went off, she reached for her phone with heavy hands and opened the footage. She watched herself put Noah to bed. She watched Zeus take his position at the foot of the crib. She watched the room go dark for 40 minutes. Nothing happened. Then Noah stood up, and started talking. Lauren turned the volume all the way up. "Zeus, no." "Mommy said stay." Zeus made that sound again, that soft, insistent sound. His body was facing the window now, every muscle rigid. Noah reached through the crib rail and put his tiny hand on Zeus's back. "I know," the little boy whispered. "I know you smell it, but you have to stay here." Lauren stopped breathing. She sat up in bed, played it back. "I know you smell it." She played it again. Her son was 2 years old. 2 years old. And he knew the dog smelled something. She sat there in the darkness, phone in her hand, heart hammering. And then, without knowing why, she kept scrolling past the footage, past the alerts, all the way back through her messages to a name she hadn't been able to touch in 14 months. Daniel, her brother. Gone at 41. Sudden and senseless. 2 months after he put Zeus's leash in her hand. She had never been able to read his last message until now. She opened it. 6 words. "Take care, Zeus. He'll take care of you both." Sent the morning he died. Lauren sat completely still. The phone screen blurred. She understood now. Her brother had known. Not just that she needed company. Not just that she needed help. He had known she would need a guardian. He had chosen Zeus deliberately, carefully, with everything he knew about dogs and everything he knew about his sister. And then he had left, and Zeus had stayed. She was already out of bed before she realized she was moving. She walked down the hallway and stood in the nursery doorway. Zeus turned immediately, his eyes locked on hers, and for the first time in 6 weeks, he moved away from the crib. He walked directly to Lauren and pressed his nose against her hand, then turned toward the hallway, looked back at her, took 1 step, and looked back again. Lauren followed him down the hallway, past the kitchen, to the door that led to utility room. Zeus stopped, pushed his nose against the gap at the bottom of the door, and held it there. Lauren put her hand on the door handle. Then she smelled it. Faint, sweet, wrong. She knew that smell. Her hand started shaking. She grabbed Noah from his crib, grabbed her phone, walked out the front door into the cold night air, and called 911. The gas company arrived 11 minutes after the fire department. The technician came out of the utility room 20 minutes after that. "Ma'am, you've got a significant leak in your gas line right at the connector behind your water heater." Lauren held Noah tighter. "How bad?" He looked at her steadily. "You would have known about it by morning." She didn't ask him to explain. She already knew. The firefighter stopped when he saw Zeus. "That your dog?" "Yes." "Doberman?" "Yes." He crouched down and looked at Zeus. "These dogs can smell a gas leak through walls," he said. "Your dog's been trying to tell you for weeks." He stood up and walked away. Lauren looked down at Zeus, at those dark, steady eyes, at the dog her brother had chosen for her deliberately, not as a companion, but as a promise. She crouched down and put her hand on his face. Zeus went completely still. "I'm sorry it took me so long," she whispered. Noah tugged her sleeve. She looked at him. He was looking at Zeus with those serious 2-year-old eyes. "Mommy," he said quietly. Zeus kept his promise. Lauren couldn't speak. She pulled her son close and held him against her chest. Zeus pressed himself against them both. The 3 of them stood on the cold sidewalk in the middle of the night, together and safe. Did this story touch your heart? Then think of the animal that stayed when everyone else left. The one that knew something was wrong before you did. The one that never stopped trying to tell you. Write their name below. Let the world know their name. They deserve it. If this story moved you, like this video and subscribe. It means everything to us. Thank you for being here with us today. See you in the next video. Have a beautiful day.